There's just no queen like a vegan queen. Well, hello everybody, I'm Miss Gemini Andro.
And I'm Ms. Creeping Miasma, emphasis on the Ms.
And together we are the Vegan Queens.
Coming in your ears and in your face.
And it's so hard to get that timed right when you're over Skype. Am I right, Miasma?
You're right, love, you're right. You look right to me. Well, you're looking gorgeous, love. How are you, sweet?
I'm alright. Shall we tell everyone? Why? Oh, yeah, let's show them.
Oh, yeah.
Let's show them this. Look, with matching frocks on today. Peacock dresses. Why peacock, you might ask? Why today? Well, there's a little story behind this. Anyone that remembers our fabulous Line Pride Festival, which I'll link up there, which we did in June, and we had a lovely time, and then we were talking about the possibility of doing one this Sunday, weren't we, Miasma?
That's right, love.
With it being what would have been Manchester Pride weekend. But local lockdown laws have prevented that. You can't even meet up in each other's gardens at the moment.
You know what I mean?
And we didn't want to be breaking any laws.
No, we didn't want to end up on the lam, did we?
No, God, no.
No, not again.
So we thought, right, well, we can at least wear us dresses. We got these dresses for Line Pride.
We did.
Because they're lime coloured and proud as a peacock. Pride. Did you see? But my husband's never came in time. Did it, love?
Story of my life, that kid, isn't it? No, my online retailer let me down and it wasn't here.
Oh, she were that annoyed. I've got these loose hairs. I swear to God, they're getting me right down.
Oh, do you know what I mean? People don't know. Do you know what I mean? Oh.
They don't know what we go through for our arts.
Half the time
nobody knows.
We're like this.
So how have you been for the last fortnight, cockle?
Yeah, not bad, love, not bad really. Just, ploughing along. I don't know, I feel like I always feel like I should say, oh, I've done something radically different, but I've not. Not in terms of going out or anything like that. Well, I did have a venture out. I say I did. Stuart had a venture out, and I sort of tagged along in the background, like a store detective, just keeping an eye, making sure no one were breaking social distancing. And I've gone into Manchester city centre, and in some ways it's very different. In some ways it don't look like an awful lot's changed, so it's 6 of 1, isn't it? So
it's a funny time to be alive.
It is.
So what subjects shall we cover in this episode of Ladies in Lockdown? For we are ladies, and we are in bloody lockdown when all's said and done.
We are in lockdown indeed. Well, what's gone on? What's the big story? So, a sort of Pridey related one. Being as it was supposed to be Manchester Pride this weekend. So I don't know if you've seen, love, Avanti West Coast have just launched a Pride train.
So, I saw it,
yes. Which is lovely, and it's the Progress Pride flag on it as well, so it's got the black and the brown and also the trans arrow in the corner. And I think it looks lovely, and they're looking at the moment for names. They're asking people.
I think it looks lovely, but I just think it's a lot of money spent on something that could have been spent on LGBTQ charities, which are struggling like buggery at the moment, because usually a lot of them are heavily funded by Pride events. And there haven't been that many Pride events. I mean, we did our little bit for Albert Kennedy Trust and George House Trust during Line Pride, and all our lovely friends and supporters donated. So, I mean, I like it. But when the world is in such a struggle as it is at the moment, I do get why people say, how much has this cost and what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, I don't know where, the sort of money come from. I did read a couple of things on the Twitter, aka the cesspool of hell, Not vegan Twitter. Generally speaking, vegan Twitter that I'm aware of tends to be, you know, a pretty cool place, and there's some awesome people on there, but that's fell, I'm not bothered. But you know, as a general rule, it's like a dumping ground for shitty opinions. Sorry, language.
Yeah.
But
no, it's true though.
But it's true, and you know, some people were sort of saying, where has the money from this come from? Which is a valid question, and I think somebody said, I wouldn't swear to it, that it was from a specific budget from beforehand. So I'm wondering if it's that, you know, like it was already money set aside. So I don't know.
Still, I just think it's what's the reason for it?
I'm not sure.
To be supportive of LGBTQ people and rights and it's I don't know. There's a lot of tokenism goes on these days, and it's, you know, it's like this whole Black Lives Matter movement, which has all kicked off again because, you know, it's, you can say Black Lives Matter and you can do all the things and watch all the films and read all the books and do all that and be as supportive, but unless there is fundamental change, so I think that's what I'm alluding to with the train. It's like it's a nice thing. Oh, lovely, look, all rainbow and lovely and LGBT stuff, and isn't that fantastic? But it tends to, things like that tend to kick up more of a storm than they do welcoming acceptance.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Which is the thing with the whole, now, before we move on from the Black Lives Matter movement, I have to talk about it, because of course this all started a couple of months ago with the horrific murder of that poor gentleman in the street with a policeman's knee on his neck.
Yes.
Then, a couple of days ago, black fella gets shot 7 times in the back. In the back. While trying to get into his car with 3 kids in the back of his car. He's 3 kids. He's paralysed for life from the waist down. Well, touch wood, it might not be for life, but right now, anyway. So, this kicks off, again, protests. Then some little white 17-year-old
oh, I know,
hillbilly with a gun, a long gun, a clearly visible long gun, walks straight through the police, shoots someone in the head, gets tackled by other people, shoots a load more, and have you seen the footage of him walking past the police cars with the gun and none of them are stopping?
Bold as brass, yeah.
I tell you what, America, don't bullshit me that racism doesn't exist in your country. Exactly. It's despicable and disgusting, and I know that many of you know it, but too many of you are still trying to deny it.
Yeah.
Trump having those bloody losers at his RNC. We had a gun in our front garden. Guess who got arrested? We did. Yeah, because you had a gun.
Yeah.
Pointing at peaceful protesters, you prick.
Yeah.
I just wish people would wake up and smell the coffee. I tell you what, this is like the last throes of the Wild West in America. America has had this superiority complex for so long. As a country, we're the best, we're the biggest, everything's goddamn great over here. And that's what they're clinging to. We have a right to bear arms. We have a right to freedom of speech. They've got so wrapped up in those rights that they haven't realised that they've actually turned into horrible things now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
sorry, I waffled a bit there,
No, it's worth mentioning, and I think, you know, what I think is absolutely worth mentioning as well is, you know, this whole sort of, the backlash against that, you know, like with the defund the police and so on and so forth. Actually, I think a lot of people still make the mistake of thinking that's a negative thing, but it needn't be, because actually, I was talking about this the other day with a colleague, and a colleague of Stuart's, I should say, and we were saying actually that could be a very positive action, because what it actually suggests is that there are a lot of things that currently fall under police jurisdiction that shouldn't. There are better people, better agencies that can deal with these issues, because lest we forget.
Besides, what they're saying when they do say defund the police is they're saying not take all their money, take some of that money that the police are getting and give it to community projects.
Exactly.
And find work projects and build your self-confidence projects. And let's stop leaving these people who are already poor and belittled and besmirched and looked down upon. Let's stop leaving them in positions where they will lash out at the first opportunity.
Absolutely.
Justifiably.
Totally.
Can we talk about looting as well for a second?
We can. Can I just finish with a little maxim to
Sorry,
bookend?
love.
No, it's fine, it's not a problem. I just want to say, I think the thing worth bearing in mind with that as well is to never forget, the police don't prevent crime, they show up when it's happened. So let's give the powers to the agencies that are better at dealing with preventative issues. That's all I wanted to say on that.
Exactly. And because that leads in with everything I said about community projects. You know, give people pride in themselves, help them to find work, build self-confidence. You know, give them opportunities. It's lack of opportunity that causes most kind of turmoil in the world. But this looting thing, everyone's like, oh, it's so disgusting, people looting. And I'm like, if you're poor and you're really struggling and you happen to be at a protest because you're sick of black people being killed and nothing being done about it, and somebody smashes a shop window and you have a chance to grab something and you're poor, do you know what I mean? And I'm not condoning it, Miasma.
I know.
I'm not saying it's fine and it should always be forgiven. I'm saying you keep beating people down and they'll rise up however they can.
Exactly, well that's the thing, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you fart in a locked room, it'll eventually work its way out the keyhole.
That's the most disgusting analogy I've ever heard.
I don't even know where it came from, that's the problem.
In my life. Oh, it's vile.
But yeah, no, but you are right, you know, that like things don't happen in a vacuum, do they?
No.
Often these things, these big events are an accumulated series of events over years and years and years and systemic failures. So, you know, we need to keep our head on that.
I think why people get worried about the Black Lives Matter movement and all of it, the making a fist, the taking a knee, the standing up for people, is that they think it's in their head somehow that that's blanket statement, all black people are wonderful. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And of course they're not.
No, nobody is. Exactly.
All people aren't wonderful, regardless of colour, creed, size, sexuality, whatever. So it's saying what the Black Lives Matter movement is saying is that, in fact, let me tell you this, my friend Scott, do you know Scott?
Oh, I've seen Scott, yeah.
Scott, lives in Spain?
Oh, yes.
He did an analogy the other day. He tried to explain it. And so he wrote this thing and it was right good. He said, if my partner comes to me and says, I'm really hurting today, I need some support, and I say, people are hurting everywhere, lots of people need support.
Yeah.
What I've actually done is dismiss that my partner needs me right now. And I've tried to belittle what he was saying. And I just thought, that's a really good analogy.
It is, it's a great analogy. Thank you, Scott.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, cheers,
Great.
Scott, love. We enjoyed that.
No,
Formerly, I hate saying it, but formerly, Miss Thunderpussy.
Oh, may she.
I don't think I don't think she's out anymore.
No. May she rest till we get there. But yeah.
So yeah.
It's good. It's good what you just said and what Scott just said, and for you parlaying it on. And I think it's all become mired in things that people are associating with the movement that are not necessarily. I'll give you an example. So this whole the proms debacle this week with Britannia rules the way and so on and so forth and all that. As Ash Sarkar, who as you know I have a deep and fond love for, she's brilliant on Question Time because she don't pull no punches. She's just like no, which I adore. I adore that. And she had a right row with David Starkey once. You know, the professor who I can't bear. Dirty old racist, allegedly. She sort of said nobody. This is the Poppy campaign and the We Can't Call It Christmas Anymore campaign repackaged for 2020. Nobody from the Black Lives Matter movement asked for that to happen. What has happened is somebody's decided that. Probably, let's credit them with nice motives, because let's face it, we go on and on about the history of British colonialism and stuff like it's a thing to be really proud of, and it's like, well, just read a book. But and like someone's probably gone, actually, you know what, right now that feels like a smack in the face. But what happened then is Gammons and Karens have gone, that's the Black Lives Matter movement, that just goes to show what I said was all wrong. You know what that's called, Gammons and Karens? Confirmation bias, where you look for information to support what you've already decided.
Yeah.
And apart from that as well, can I just say, Rule Britannia's a shit song anyway.
It's crap. It's crap. And it does, it's... I think Boris Johnson has proved, because he called us wet. He said that anybody that wanted to change that would stop being wet, he said. He epitomises, in fact, the old school, I've said it before and I'll say it again, he epitomises the old school British, went to Eton, went to Oxford, blah 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 blah, living out of each other's pockets, support your mates whenever you can, make money, look like you're doing good, anybody casts doubt on you, act a bit daft and like you're a bit of a goon, why not go on a zip wire or talk about buying a water cannon. He is an utter fuck muppet. There, I've said it. I cannot abide the man. I can't abide any of his crew. He is nothing like me. He doesn't care about me. He doesn't care about anyone I care about. He cares about himself. And what he's going to do, miasma, is he's going to push Brexit through without a deal, because Angela Merkel has just said today, we're not even going to talk about it now. We've given you plenty of time, and you're waiting, hoping you can force something through in the 11th hour, and you can't. We're done. Yeah. So we're going to come crashing out without a deal. The country's going to go broke. Everyone's going to say, I didn't vote for this. I didn't want this. Well, you shouldn't have been a dickhead then and voted for a pompous Tory when you're a working class British person who got suckered in. And I tell you what, I'm on one. I tell you what, there's a film called Brexit on Channel 4 starring Hamberkind Cumberbatch.
Fungalitis McGee.
Watch that, because it tells you everything. He plays Dominic Cummings in it. See what the man who is now got his hand up your Prime Minister's ass, see what he did for Brexit, and all of them.
Yeah, not in a nice way, by the way, viewers at home. Not in a mutually consensual way. No. It all sickens me, because you've got these people worshipping this yellow-haired fuck muppet who doesn't know what he's doing, and you look overseas to America, the brightest, biggest country in the world, the great example. And you've got a yellow-haired fuck muppet with orange skin. We're not making any money on this video, are we? But you know what? It don't matter, because it has to be said.
It does have to be said. It does have to be said. And we need to stop. We need to stop putting people on pulpits and kind of worshipping them, because that's what's happening. It's. Have you watched? We must mention. Stuart's got a load of new book videos.
Oh yes, he has. He's been in that den recording.
Follow his channel. We'll link it up there now.
He's doing all sorts of
And
bits.
Paul's done all sorts, but just recently he's been reading out a book called The Shortness of Life by Seneca. 2,000 years ago. You wouldn't think it could have been written yesterday.
Yeah.
I'll link those Vegan Guys channel up there. You should go there and know, just in case you haven't yet.
Yeah. Good shout, lass. Good shout. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Do you know why I can't? Do you know why I can't about it? Who plays Nigel Farage in the Brexit film?
I can't remember his name, but he's bloody good.
Well, do you know what I mean? I can't get over him. I'm sorry, because it's not even funny because he's a knob. But I can't get over him sat on that hill in Dover looking for people. You know, like refugee boats and stuff like that. Sat up there.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah, like the last Boy Scout that nobody wanted. As Janie Godley said, wipe your private parts, ladies, because they won't be getting moist anytime soon. Do you know what I mean? What an awful, awful man. And why is he always on the telly and things like that? I'm like, he's not an MP and he doesn't represent anybody. Why is he constantly on the telly?
Because he has a huge fandom.
Well, they want the bumps feeling.
That's why, just like Trump does and just like Boris do, because they are all middle-aged fuck muppets, dripping in wealth and privilege, without a thought or a care for anybody else, who just want to make money for themselves and their friends.
Yeah. You're right.
But it's nothing more. It's nothing more. And people, and what they do is they latch on to the unjustified fears of nationals. The Muslims are coming. They're going to get all the benefits. They're going to get a bigger house than you. They're going to take all the jobs. How do you feel about that? If you don't like it, vote Brexit. It went out doing Muslims.
Yeah.
It's just, it's appalling how suckered in people get.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It absolutely is. And you know, and also to blame, I think, is, you know, institutions as well that are allegedly impartial, and I do say allegedly, are then profiling people, in my opinion, who don't really have the right to be there. I'll give you an example. T'other day on BBC, I can't remember, I think it was Saturday morning on BBC, they do that Saturday morning show, didn't they? Or it might be Sunday, whatever, I don't get up that early. And I'm still tonguing my wigs at that time. And they had bloody, what's his face on, discussing education, Darren Grimes, right? Now this is not to education shame, right? But here's a little background. If you don't know, Darren Grimes is a working class lad from County Durham who's a massive Tory and regularly profiles the aforementioned racist, allegedly, historian Dave Starkey. He's dreadful. But here's Darren Grimes' qualifications. Fashion design dropout from uni. Went to school.
Is that it?
That is Darren Grimes' educational qualifications to be discussing the education of the nation. Why? Why on earth do I want to hear what Tory boy McGee has got to say about the education system?
Who's he friends with, Miasma?
Well, there you go. Well in there with Tories, isn't he? Well in there, of course he is.
And there you go. And this is why Cummins is still there. You know, because he's wormed his way in and he's made them feel like he can be valuable. And yet he does this trip and it all gets forgotten, and then allegedly there was a second trip and that went quiet very quickly. There's all this All this stuff comes out. We are shown constantly the facts about people. People show us who they are all the time. Exactly who they are. All we've got to do is believe them.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Maya. The lovely Maya Angelou.
Yeah. Oh, I can't bear Cummins. He looks like a smackhead in a cashmere jumper, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you saw him, like, you know, hanging around by some wheelie bins with some tin foil, you wouldn't think anything of it. You'd be like, yeah, he looks about right, but because he's who he is, do you know what I mean? Oh, I can't bear him. I can't
bear him. I'd hate shag him, but I can't bear him.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. The only way I'd do
My asthma, I've been locked in 6 months. I've not seen David, Daniel and Darren.
All the 3Ds, yeah?
for ages. You know, I'm a desperate woman.
I am a woman on a mission. Whoa.
I'm going that tight. The pee's not coming out right.
I'm trying to laugh dignified and I can't.
Oh.
But yeah. Oh, haven't we been dead political this week? Good.
Well, do you know, I think we've established here that we are that we're still living in a fucked up net. This was the thing I wanted to mention about the Seneca thing, because I listened very carefully to the reading by Paul of the Seneca book. It was 2,000 years ago, my asthma. It's saying the same stuff. It's saying the same stuff.
Yeah. That
people get obsessed with other people and kind of dedicate part of their lives to them, and they don't live. Live.
Go live. You know, well, it all comes down to it, doesn't it? As I think it's Mark Twain said once, I've said it before, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes.
History does repeat, though.
I know, it's just a nice quote, isn't it?
We've got different style houses and different style clothes we wear, but it's exactly the same thing. Just it could be ancient Egypt. There's a hierarchical system. There's them up there who tax us down here. We do all the menial jobs and the labour, you know, and they sit up there creaming off the profits and controlling our lives, and we let them. We let them.
Aye to that.
It would be nice to see at some point in Earth's future. It would be nice to see a real political overhaul worldwide. None of this two-party system malarkey. You know, just changing it completely. Have you noticed, by the way, in the RNC in Manchester, in America, like you said in our conversation yesterday, my asthma, lots of people with the surname Trump as speakers, and they've spent so much time talking about how terrible things will be under Biden, whereas Biden spent a lot of time just talking about, here's what I'm going to do to change things.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
Shall we have a restart?
Yes, do you want to? Yeah, it's probably a good idea, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. We're back, honey. We have to have a little break, you see, just to make sure we've got plenty of time on us cameras, you know.
Yeah, this is the thing.
So, let's talk about Pride for a minute, because I know that there's still, you know, we've dressed like this today to celebrate Pride, really.
Aye.
And why is it still important, my asthma?
Well, I think it's still important because, you know, as much as I think, well, a couple of reasons. One is because while things can be enshrined in law, that's not the same as sociological acceptance. For one, societal acceptance, I should say. For two, our trans siblings are fighting a pretty horrendous battle at the moment in terms of, you know, being denounced right, left and centre. Three, our people of colour in the community, queers of colour, are, you know, very heavily involved in the Black Lives Matter movement at the moment, as should we all be, and proportionally, black trans women, you know, are one of the groups with the highest mortality rates. And FUA, We need to think globally as well about queer people worldwide. Look at what's happening in Poland. Look at how many countries where it's still illegal to be gay, still punishable by death. You know what I mean? We can't just go, la la la, we're okay. That's what's got us into this mess with the bloody, you know, the Brexit and the borders and all that business. Act local, true. Yes, fair enough, but you need to think global.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. And do you know, I often think some of the people that are very kind of anti-LGBT, they'd be mortified if we were all straight. Do you know how many more kids there'd be?
Exactly. We are providing a public service.
We're all about population control, and you better just give it up with your 8, because I'm sick of it.
Yeah. If you want 4 kids, Miranda.
You what, darling?
If Miranda wants 4 kids, fine. Well, that's 2 of my share then, so think yourself lucky. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I don't know who Miranda.
I don't know if you noticed this last couple of weeks, Miasma, but there's been some vegan propaganda going on. Well, actually, should I say animal agriculture propaganda? Because there were all these adverts saying vegans should help by drinking less soya milk and drinking more dairy. Turned out it was a paid-for advertisement from the dairy industry, who were losing sales. I know, right? Then, shockingly, there's been some... Oh, yes, Viva, fabulous English charity, spent some time in was it in Lincolnshire? A pig farm.
Oh, right,
in Lincolnshire, and they got some secret footage. That's been all over the papers recently as well, about the disgusting conditions. Now, this place was RSPC approved and red tractor labelled, and they're both supposed to be signs of quality and care. I tell you what, I don't even know what the RSPCA are anymore, because if you're talking about the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, then there are no humane ways to grind up chicks alive, or take a baby calf away from a cow so we can steal the milk, or force a cow to be pregnant so that she will have babies that we can take away so we can steal the milk, or hang an animal upside down by its leg and slit its throat while it slowly dies in horrific pain and fear. There are no RSPCA approved way. Well, there are, they think there are, but it's just like, it's bullshit. I don't even know who the RSPCA are anymore, to be honest with you. And I'm so sick of being a placating vegan. I'm kind of done with it at the moment. I'm like, I haven't seen anybody for months because of a lockdown caused by a zoonotic disease that jumped from animals to humans. Can we not? Can we just fucking not now? Can we learn? You know what I mean, Miasma?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I don't know what needs to happen. Do you know what I mean? For people to go,
Well, they need to think. That's what it is. It's like, okay, if you're a viewer of this video now and I'm saying to you, you shouldn't eat meat and you shouldn't consume dairy, they're bad for you, the planet and the animals, so just stop it. You immediately, your ego goes, that's wrong, you don't tell me what to do, you don't tell me things, that's bullshit, we've had meat and dairy for years. Instead of thinking, hang on a second, is there any validity to what was just said? I should look into that.
Yeah.
It's all about ego and the sooner that people stop protecting their egos, that's when you learn to, you know, be a caring, compassionate, empathic human being who cares about all life on the planet.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. It's true. It's very true, love. You know, I don't know. I don't know.
foul.
What's that?
Hairs under my arms.
Oh no, I'd never do that, me. Na, 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 na. Like crawling over like a sea anemone. Forget you in the night, you know. No, but it's true. It's true. You know, nothing to add to that, really, love. I think you've pretty much summed it up there.
Yeah.
You know. Do you know who's bizarre though? Who I find bizarre? This kind of cult. You know these cult of carnism people that have, because you know, like sometimes people will do. I do it myself. In their like Twitter name, like I have a V symbol. You know, just to show that I'm like vegan, obviously. And then it's like if people are following. You know, it's just an easier tool, isn't it, to find people? And they'll have like a C for carnism, but I'm like, but like, what are you campaigning for? Like, what don't you already have that you think you're being denied? I don't understand. What? It's just like you want more killing? What? What do you want?
I think they want vegans to shut up. I think that's what it is. I think they want vegans to shut up because what we do is we constantly talk about the need for empathy and awareness.
Yeah.
And being a carnist is very void of exactly those two things.
Yeah, it's very me-centric, isn't it? In some ways,
very.
It's
ego fueled. Being a carnist is completely ego fueled. Watch any of Frank Tufano's videos, any one of them. You know, he's a pretty boy, and I'm sorry if anybody thinks he's not, but he is. He's a pretty looking boy, and he's got a nice little body on him, but he's full of shit.
Yeah.
Absolute shit. Hench Herbivore and Michelle Lowe are always ripping him to shreds, pair of them. And I don't blame him, because he's got a huge following and he sprouts shit. He doesn't cite any reports or analysis or, you know, he just kind of says all these. Here's an example. You ready?
Yeah. I'm just getting comfy.
So, if you eat the plants, you're getting the colloids and the dankides, and they're damaging your system. They're like ripping your cells apart, but nobody tells you that bit. And when you eat the meat, you're getting the protein. And now, them first two words I said, I made them up. I made it. He talks. And there is no validity to anything he says. It's just about his ego. It's about protecting his ego.
Yeah.
He's the kind of, I suppose, one of the main ones. But I tell you what, I'm disgusted with miasma and all.
Go on.
John Venus, micro penis. Sorry, I'm not suggesting he's got a micro penis. It just rhymed.
That was just a slip of the tongue, weren't it? Which is all you'd need.
Again, Michelle Lowe covered it the other day. His
lovely Michelle.
His first hunting video. Wanker! Sorry.
You know, these bloody back to nature people with their hunting shit, I'm just like, you know what, if you're that arsed about going back to the old way, why don't you jump off a cliff with some wax wings like Icarus and see how you get on? If that's how keen you are to, you know, bring back the old ways, it's like, yeah, of course cavemen did that. Because they didn't have how else, did they, dickhead?
Hey, speaking of cavemen, and if you're interested in this, Google it, but the most recent study actually proved that Neolithic, is that what they're called?
I think so, yeah. Or Paleolithic, somewhat lithic.
We're actually miasma, mainly vegetarian.
Really? No, that's interesting, isn't it?
That's when we started to learn about crops and growing stuff. And meat was only eaten in the winter, in the seasons where you couldn't, you know. Yeah, they've found people and they've kind of done, I don't know, study on the, you know, contents of the stomachs or whatever, or the remnants, and it's been found to be mostly kind of plant-based. Plant-based, tell your mother.
There you go. Yeah, no, they can do all that sort of stuff, because there was an argument about slavery, you know, re the ancient Egyptians and the pyramids and stuff like that, and a lot of ancient sort of archaeologists is like saying, like, we actually have contrary evidence that the people who built the pyramids were probably not slaves, and it's because of like the contents of, like, you know, the nutrients that are in the soil based on what they would have eaten, on their body decomposition and so on and so forth. It's interesting.
Yeah, and I think I've read somewhere as well that somewhere in ancient Egypt, in one of the villages that kind of was labelled as where slaves lived, there were these big communal, like, concrete bowls.
Oh yeah.
And they found the remnants of fish in them.
Oh right.
So they assumed that this was like a communal eating place whereby, you know, a lot of women would sit around, prepare the fish, put it in this big thing, and then people would come up and just get their food. And but you know, the more I learn about history, the more I learn that we know nothing. Because you've got all these fascinating places abroad, like is it called Göbekli Tepe? I think it's in Iran.
Oh right, okay.
Or Iraq. And it's been carbon dated to be, and it's structures and carvings and pillars and stuff, 12,000 years old.
Wow.
But really arty and nice and stuff.
And so
it seems that we kind of look back and say, oh yeah, civilized humanity started then, and then we find something that actually proves that 10,000 years before that. What I'd like to know is when do we learn? When do we learn to make the most of our humanity? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it, love? It's like it all ties back into what we've been talking about today as well, in the same way that history, as much as anything else, is not objective. In the same way that, well, maybe history in and of itself, as if it could be an independent thing, might be objective, but how history is recorded is not objective. So, you know, make no mistake, unless, you know, a lot of what we learned at school and stuff is written with a viewpoint in mind.
Yeah,
so for
absolutely.
instance, I did GCSE history, for instance. I learned all about the war and stuff like that. Didn't learn anything about British colonialism, funnily enough. Didn't learn anything about, you know, any culpability in that respect. It was always very much, bravo, Britain and America won the war, blah, blah, blah. And actually it's like, is that factually accurate? I mean, in some respects, yes, it is. But, like, history leaves out a lot of nuance. You know,
yes. Yeah.
You know, and we can stand to be critical of it.
And it's written by the victors, usually.
Exactly. What's that old cliche? History's written by the winners, fiction's written by the losers. Fiction writer.
Oh yeah. Dear. Right, miasma. We're heading up time-wise, and we know what people are like. They ain't got the time to be watching two fluffy drag queens talk about their lives.
I know.
And try and put the world to rights.
I know, it's not like we've all got to stay indoors, is it? Oh wait. I'm kidding. I'm playing. Ish.
So yeah, shall we end it here for a fortnight? Oh, let's just acknowledge very quickly that the British government did a very wise U-turn on the A-levels and the GCSEs.
Yes, which Boris is now calling a mutant algorithm.
Boris is a dick, man.
Boris is such a dick, it's like... yeah, you know this, you've seen this in this programme. It's everywhere that you go. Oh no, look around.
Everywhere you turn it's happening. It's everywhere that you go. When you go round, you can try everything you can to escape. I love that song.
I do. It always puts me in a good mood when it comes on. That bit at the beginning. Ding. Love that. Love that. Love that.
Oh, I miss singing with you, Miasma.
I do. I'm fuming.
I hope we get a chance to do something soon. You never know if people actually stop posting crap about how bad it is to wear masks and quoting defunct bullshit just because they don't want to wear one. We might get out of this in the next few months and we can get back to being the glamorous queens that we are, singing in people's faces. I doubt that'll ever happen again.
I'm cautiously optimistic. We might be singing in your faces behind perspex.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'll write you a lovely message in the condensation.
Indeed.
Right,
my love. Let's try and we'll be back in a fortnight with a lot more. I've been Gemini Andro.
I've been Creeping Miasma.
Together, we've been vegan queens. Ian, we've had a right good time. Thanks for watching, loves.
Mwah. Love yous.
Love ya. See you soon.